both of their parents, you know. And I'm just glad to be a part of something positive.
Thank you. Amen. All right.
Two abusive relationships, the deaths of both of my sons, heavy drug addiction. I've been clean for 7 years now.
Amen. Great.
All I want to do now is go back to school, further my education.
Amen. All right.
And dedicate my life to serving God.
Amen.
This is the reason that I am still standing here today.
All right. Thank you there. All right. Let's talk about. Yeah. Men, ladies first.
I'm Annette Barber. I'm an ordained minister, and I was, W-A-S, was a domestic violent wife.
Come on.
Was.
Come on now.
For 8 years, I was beaten up. My ex-husband would go out and do his thing and come home where I guess his girlfriend had made him mad. I got kicked out of the bed, got thrown out the door with my pajamas on. And I called the police and asked the police, I said, does my husband have the right to throw me out? He said, no, what's going on? I explained it to him. I said, and I'm out here with my nightgown on. He said, well, we'll be by. They came by and he locked the door, and the police asked him, was I afraid to do the screen? I said, no. He says, tear the screen and we'll get him and you'll get back in the house. And they did. They arrested him. And he got out. Well, the reason why I ended up getting a divorce, first of all, my mom was in a domestic violence for 35 years. And I actually literally seen my dad beat up on my mom. Okay? So that took care of that, and I'm thinking that maybe I had to go through that, but then the Lord let me know I did not have to go through that.
Amen.
How I got out of it, every time his mom would go out of town, he would show us behind. And he had a gun. And he wanted to know where the gun was. I said, I took the gun to your mom. So that was the wrong answer. I should have never did that. He said, I don't need a gun to kill you. He went to get the knife.
Oh, my goodness.
I said, okay, Lord. He grabbed me. Only thing I remember saying was, Lord, have mercy. That's all I remember saying. He threw the knife down. I called his brother. His brother said, you either come up here or you go to your mom's. I went to my mom's. This is in April. Income checks is getting ready to come. Okay? So I'm checking the mailbox. The check came. I cashed the check. I paid for my divorce with that check. I turned around and hid some money. Yep, he had to hide my money.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know why you get a divorce. Nobody wants you. You get finished with the bars. I don't want you. And I'm saying, well, I didn't meet him at no bar, so why am I going to start going to
Come on,
you know,
come on.
I can't understand that. So in Ohio, it's called DHS. Well, they come out during the divorce and they investigate. This is true. They investigate you. The lady said, how are you surviving? We had 2 daughters. I said, I sell a bond and I'm doing child care. How much do you make? I told her. She says, well, you can make it. I said, I know I can. She said, your husband said, now I want y'all listen to this. Your husband said, you have a boyfriend. I said, that's right. She says, you know you're not supposed to have a boyfriend when you're getting a divorce. I said, that's right. She said, are you telling me you have a boyfriend? I said, that's right. She said, tell me. She said, well, do you mind telling me who he is? I said,
Foremost, my name is Clinton Patton. I'm the CEO with Principles of Resilient Youth Development. I also have a nonprofit organization. It's the Ashley Renee Hamilton Foundation. Foundation cover the cost of mental health services for victims of domestic violence. However, I've listened to, everybody's story about domestic violence. I've heard it out in the community about domestic violence. But one thing you have to know about domestic violence is that it's a process. It is a process. As long as we continue to look at domestic violence as man, woman, woman, man, instead of looking at the process, we're not going to be able to have a solution for it. So what I pride myself on within domestic violence is intervention. There is a lot of awareness, but how long do you become aware of a problem without having a solution or without intervening within that problem?
That's right.
Now, 3.3 to 10 million children per year does
Ms. Stevens, I'm glad you make it.
Those are your kids that are going to the public school system and failing. There are over 900,000 estimates of domestic violence per year. That is a total of 9 full to capacity football stadiums. That's a lot of people.
Can you make that everything?
Domestic violence does not care about your socioeconomic status.
That's right.
It does not care about your gender. It does not care whether you're homosexual or heterosexual. It does not care whether you're black, white, gray, green, or yellow. It happens to anyone.
That's absolutely right.
Historically, domestic violence was basically permitted here in the U.S. They have something that was called the thumb rule, where you are allowed to beat your wife with a stick as long as it's not the width of your thumb. There was also a rule called the 15-minute rule, where if a prosecutor came into interview the victim of domestic violence and they felt within the first 15 minutes that, quote unquote, I would be her too, and they would not press charges on the husband. There were incidents of where judges would not prosecute or hear cases on domestic violence for fear that it would interrupt harmony and peace in the home. My problem with that is, how is there peace and harmony within the home where there is domestic violence? In 2007, August 12, 2007, I lost my sister to domestic violence. It was then where I
Come on with it.
noticed that it was a need for it. I mean, prior to that, I didn't like crimes against women or crime, period. However, once I lost my sister to it, and I began to think that, you know, this affects more than just the people that are involved. And I can remember being angry every single day for no reason for like the first 2 years. No reason, every single day, because I felt like something was taken from me. Someone decided that my sister wasn't worth living.
That's right.
And believe it or not, she never told me that she was going through any type of situation like that. She would call and talk to me about everything else, but when it came to what was going on within that relationship, she wouldn't tell me. So I found out later on that she didn't tell me because she knew or felt like she knew what I was going to do in that situation. I had the opportunity to sit in on a couple of battles and intervention groups. I had the opportunity to see a different side of domestic violence. At first, I was just looking from the victim side and being a victim of domestic violence and, you know, understanding. But I had the opportunity to sit in and see how the battlers think. What do they think? What are their behavioral processes when it comes to domestic violence? And once I was able to sit in and I took that perspective, and now my perspective is we here in society have to look at the process of domestic violence. The cycle of violence, beginning with power and control. Usually people who want power and control of another individual does not have power and control of their own lives. So I established my foundation in my sister's name because
All right.
I knew that as long as you have people who are in domestic violence, victims of domestic violence, who go untreated, they would not be successful members in society because they are dealing with issues that are just scratching the surface. Children who witness domestic violence are at a 50% rate of becoming juvenile delinquents, using substance, suicide. Children that witness domestic violence are those who are your bullies at school. And your bullies at school lead to students who they're bullying who commit suicide. Oklahoma is number 3 in homicides for domestic violence, meaning 1 in 3 women will be killed by their significant other, by their intimate partner. 1 in 3. Another way that we could end domestic violence is, it's one thing to be able to tell your story. To tell your story may impact someone. But it's one thing to be able to tell your story, but you have to do the legwork. You have to do the research to back your story up. You have to be able to relate your story to the research that you've done.
Amen.
People look at domestic violence on very different perspectives. If there is someone that you know that is in domestic violence and you can say, I don't know why he or she stayed. You don't know the first hand about the process of domestic violence, because at the beginning of domestic violence, it starts out with emotional abuse, psychological. I have to tear you down. I have to make you feel like you're less than a person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and if that doesn't